Welcome here to our very fine edition of Dolphin Dive, where we get to tell the stories of student athletes, coaches, as well as administration, future Dolphins, and alumni. You know Mary Grimes here on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, no stranger to the broadcast, and the head women's basketball coach for the LeMoyne Dolphins, coming in and getting the job on June 15th of 2021, having success last season right off the bat, and hitting the ground running, I believe recruiting within the first 15 seconds of the season ending. So happy to have you here, Mary. How are you?
I'm doing well. How are you, Dan?
I'm doing very well. And on that recruiting trail, I know you've been very busy and very active, and I've been able to be around some of these families and whatnot when they've been on campus. What's the experience been like for you to be on this recruiting trail as the Dolphins coach, and just the response that you've been getting up to this point?
Yeah, it's been really good. Everybody's been really receptive, and they knew the program before. Now the people I know the program even better, and they're excited about the future, and everybody's trying to help it the best they can. They're always sending me players. Take a look at her, take a look at this kid. So that's been really, really exciting that everybody wants to see not only me do well, but this program do very well.
What is it about what you've done and the network that you've built and the bridges that are there that you feel like has paid off dividends over the years of creating these opportunities for people to send you players and different things? Just the importance of networking for you, and maybe some of the things that you're feeling kind of bear fruit all these years later.
Yeah, it's just about building relationships, and that's something, I learned early on in recruiting when I was at Syracuse about the relationships that you build. It's not a one phone call thing. It's, you have to continue to build those relationships over time. And so, I've been in New York State for my whole, playing career, most of my college, coaching career. So, for the most part, people in New York think I'm from New York, and I'm not. I'm from Detroit. So, so I've been able to build a lot of relationships, and they, feel that I'm someone they can trust. I've been very honest and upfront, to this day. I'm not somebody who needs to cheat, lie, and steal to get recruits. I just do it the right way, and I think that's bode well for me in my career.
So what can you tell us about what some of the new faces of LeMoyne in this new season will look like as we step into 2022-23?
Yeah, I mean, I feel like a dynamite freshman class. I mean, they're young, they don't know anything, but they got a lot of talent, so I'm very excited about them. We got Kaya Good coming from Rochester, point guard. She scored over 1,000 points. She's a state champion. We got Michelina Lombardi, same thing. She's a state champion for Class A, I believe. So those two definitely know how to win. And that's something that, you can't teach, and they know the things that go into winning championships. And that's what we're about. We got Sierra Lennon. She's a lefty shooter. I'm very excited about her. She may not say much, but when she makes threes, it says enough. Okay. And so we're excited about her. And then rounding out that freshman class, we got Tamia Turner. She's a low post. She could shoot a 15-footer. Looking to expand her games. But like I tell her, she's a beast on the boards, and keep doing that. So very excited about those freshmen. And then rounding out that recruiting class is Erin LaFaro. She is a transfer from UMass Lowell. I recruited her prior to me leaving Gina Castelli to go coach at Xavier. And so she ended up taking a Division I offer to UMass Lowell. So I'm excited about the opportunity to coach her again, because I recruited her pretty tough. So she's just a worker, and she wants to win. That's on a daily basis. When she sees me, that's what we talk about, is winning. She can shoot a 15-footer. Can she step out and shoot the three? And, if there's anybody on this team I know who's going to run through a brick wall for me, it's her. So I'm really excited about her and her future and her development.
And I'm looking at the roster right now as you've, given us these new faces we're going to see on the team for the LeMoyne College Dolphins this season for women's basketball. And every single player on this team from the state of New York, except for Tamia Turner, what you talked about, Howell, New Jersey. So, just the importance of that. Like you said, they think because you spent your playing days and a lot of your coaching time in the state of New York that they think you're a New Yorker. You've built these connections, and I'm looking at the cities and the towns. They're all over the state of New York. And then you have one from New Jersey. is that going to be imperative and important and kind of a focus for you that you want to build from the backyard out, the inside out as you continue recruiting at LeMoyne?
Yeah, I talk with Bob about it all the time. That was one of the things I told him on my interviews. I want to own the throughway, and so, yeah, to me is outside of that throughway, but she's not too far outside of the throughway. So if we can continue to get the best players along the throughway, I think historically it's been very good for us. Past players like Liz Millay, Michaela Roberts. I mean, they're unbelievable players as well. So, just owning the throughway and being, visible along New York.
Having the different coaching stints that you've had and being able to take over this program and become a head coach, what did you learn last season that you feel is already affecting the way that you're coaching right now?
Ooh, I would say every stop I've made has been great. I got a piece of recruiting at the Syracuse level. I got a piece of everything at UAlbany as far as game management, recruiting, overall, overseeing the whole program, and Xavier just rebuilding, on the academic side. So I think all that kind of played into last year and being able to adjust with those different experiences. So coming into this year, I'm just trying to be consistent as possible, especially for those young players. I think that's a big thing for them is the consistency, but also challenge them and have some adversity. And I think I learned that at all the stops I've ever been at.
Favorite part of last season and biggest moment of adversity?
Favorite part of last season. I would say, I believe it was against Bentley in the semifinals, and this, just came to mind. Even though we lost that game, Erin Foraker, she went down with an ankle injury, and I think it was in the first half or second half, I can't remember, but I wasn't sure if she was even going to play again, and our bench was already thin, and she came hobbling back, and she said, "I'm ready to go, coach." As soon as she entered the game, she got a steal for a breakaway layup. And at that time, we hadn't scored for about 10 minutes. But I went from liking that kid to loving that kid. I mean, that was just an unbelievable moment that, I'll never forget. Just show me the fight and drive that's, players have. And what was your other part of your question? What I can build on?
The biggest adversity moment for you.
Biggest adversity moment? I would say St. Rose, at St. Rose. That was our first loss. Historically, for the past few years, it's been a tough place to play. We went into overtime with them, and that's what we got to understand going into games is everybody wants to beat us. Everybody's going to play their best against us. So maybe St. Rose the next game didn't shoot 45% from the field, but that's what we have to expect. So just understanding that mentally, for my players is going to be huge.
You won the first game that you have ever been the head coach at LeMoyne or a head coach in general when you faced off against East Stroudsburg. You won 4 of your first 5 last season, and then shortly after won 6 in a row. What do you think translated the fastest between you and these student athletes? Because, you come on to a team as a new coach, even though you're a familiar face, and they were recruited by somebody else or brought in by someone else, led by somebody else, and what Gina Castelli did. How did your message translate so quickly to these student athletes where you were able to win effectively, win immediately, and then have sustained winning streaks during the season?
Yeah, I mean, Coach Castelli and I are kind of from the same tree. So the hard work was already there. So that was, an easy transition for them. As far as like what we ran offensively and defensively, that was a big change. And having Erin Foraker at the point guard, which she had never done before, was a big change. So I think they kind of embraced it with open arms. And, we just took it game by game. Like, okay, what do we have to do to win this game? Do we got to play man? Do we got to play zone? Do we got to go inside? So that's kind of how I approached it. I didn't look at, 3 games down the line. Okay, hey, in this game, let's prep for a 2-3 zone because we're going to have to play it against a Delphi. I was just like, okay, what do we have to do to win this game? And I think, if I continue to do that and just stay present and stay in the moment, hopefully we'll have that same success this season. And then we just kept things simple. It wasn't any rocket science. It was just like, shoot a layup. It wasn't, Euro into a layup. It was just like, hey, let's do what we got to do to win, and just do it as simple as possible.
And when you come in and, like you said, cut from the same cloth as Gina and come in with the simplicity, when you have that first season and you keep it simple, did you start to implement more on that foundation of simplicity to make things not harder, but to develop things a little bit more? Have we seen you kind of maybe hone in on certain areas and practice and do different things where you said, okay, we kept it simple in year number one, but now I really want to dive into this more?
Yeah, I would say conditioning would be the number one thing. Is, I think to win games last year, I had to be very mindful of some players and injuries and how hard we went in practice and things like that. So I would say that would be one thing that we've kicked it up a notch in, is just as far as conditioning and the way I want to play. I want to press more. I want to run. And so far, they've been really receptive to that. The competitive nature is never wavering. So even last year, even though we might have had a shorter practice time, we were always competitive in practice, but we were very mindful of, having to withstand a full season with such a short roster. And now, I think we have 11 players that are hungry and have stepped up to every challenge that I've given them.
With a bunch of freshmen coming in a transfer, like you said, you have deeper of a roster now at 11. Do you see yourself and envision, and I know different things can happen during the season that can affect this, but would you like to go deep on the bench, or how do you look at that going into the year?
Yeah, I mean, I definitely would like to go deep into the bench, but time will tell. Like I had to figure out how to coach with a short bench. I never thought that I would have to do that. Now I have to figure out how to coach with a deeper bench. So, again, it's going to be another learning experience, but at the end of the day, it's how can we win this game? What do we got to do to win this game? And who's going to play to help us win this game? And that's our motto for this year. It's earn, not given. And every day they got to earn it. So if you didn't earn it in practice the day before, I mean, you probably aren't going to get an opportunity to play in that game, but you got to understand everybody has that opportunity. So they know that coming in, and it's been really competitive, exciting to see this team develop so far.
Mary Grimes, LeMoyne women's basketball head coach, heading into year number 2. Before I let you go here, a few different things. One of them being that we're used to every once in a while getting to see LeMoyne play Syracuse on the basketball court in the Dome, but it's typically the men's team. Your women's basketball team at LeMoyne will head down the road to Syracuse University this November 3rd on a Thursday at 7 p.m. for an exhibition game with Felisha Legette-Jack back as Bet was a player and now here as the head coach, and the opportunity for her to take that player assistant coaching and now turn it into a head coach. How is your relationship with Felisha, and are you going to converse before this game? And what are your thoughts about the fact that we get to see a LeMoyne Syracuse game in the Dome, but it's the women's side this time?
Yeah, I mean, it's very exciting. Felisha is somebody, who has empowered me throughout my career. And she's one of those people who speak your name in a room full of opportunities. And I think I am here because of who she is and the opportunities she's afforded me with when I didn't even know it, And so, of course, I'm going to converse with her prior to the game. She called me herself in regards to us having an exhibition game. And I think it's going to just be a great opportunity for our players to be in the Dome. I coached there for 5 years, 6 years, I think. Can't remember now, but I've been there. I've been in the Dome, and it's an unbelievable place to play. And it's for everybody who's in New York State, Central New York, it's going to be great to see women's basketball play at a high level.
Where is women's? I know, we can expand on this through the season, but where is women's basketball right now as compared to where you would like it to be? Are you seeing positive growth at the WNBA level? Are you seeing more respect with some changes that have been made with strength and conditioning for the NCAA tournament and what women are offered? And the fact that now all the games are televised in some way, shape, or form, are we getting somewhere? Where are we at right now?
I definitely think we're getting somewhere. I think the coaches that we have are definitely empowering their women to speak up, because that's who said it first. That's who made it known that there were some discrepancies within the NCAA tournament, is the players. And, I think our game is definitely evolving. The WNBA is very competitive. And, you know, the future is bright. I think those top 25 teams are definitely developing the players and, you know, giving us, you know, other players and coaches something to look up to and strive for.
Looking at the fact that you'll have this exhibition game against Syracuse, but looming in the background is this conversation of realignment and reclassification that LeMoyne could go D1. And I've carried this exclusive series with AD Bob Beretta and President Dr. Linda Lemira for almost half a year now. And I've been able to go through the process as a coach at LeMoyne. How are you looking at this? And when you came in, knowing you're taking over a Division II program, what are your thoughts now saying, hey, I came in and I'm a Division II head coach, and I may be moving into a Division I head coach and moving into a new conference? How do you look at all that?
I mean, I feel like it's just the evolution of LeMoyne, and where, you know, wherever they feel it needs to go, I'm here for that. And I'm supportive of whatever decision that needs to be made. And, you know, at the end of the day, I just want to win. I want to win games, no matter where, you know, if we're Division II, we're Division I. At the end of the day, I just want to go out, compete, win, and, you know, help these young women get a great education, which LeMoyne provides, and help them have a great career after they leave LeMoyne. So at the end of the day, I just want to win.
Final note here. You have obviously stood up for women's rights as well as the African-American community. You consistently will wear shirts after games to send a message and whatnot. And yeah, sending one right now. So you know, Mary, I've gotten to know your personality. I was there the day that you were announced, and have had the opportunity, thanks to you, of being able to converse with you, laugh with you, have serious conversations with you, and learn about you on and off the court. So I'd love for you to kind of, you know, have an open opportunity here to kind of just speak about what you stand for and why you stand for it, because I know that you don't shy away from sending messages and making sure that people know who you're, you know, supporting, and trying to be a voice to some people that I think you feel are voiceless at times.
Yeah, I just want to have, you know, continue the conversation. You know, I think COVID exposed a lot of things that the nation knew, but just brought it to the forefront. And for me, I like to be aware of what's going on for me personally, and for my own children. You know, my daughter Mia and my son Braylon, you know, they got to live in this world, and, you know, I'm just trying to make it the best place for them. But in empowering our young women, having, you know, messages for them and giving them a voice, and understanding that they do have a voice, and whatever voice they decide to use, that they should use it. And not shying away from, you know, social issues or things that are going on in our country that, you know, it affects us all,
Yeah.
you know, and so we just need to be mindful of what's going on. And if we can have an impact in a positive way, then I'd like to do that.
Yeah, coming from Mary Grimes, team made the NCAA tournament in her first season as the head coach, and we'll tip things off very soon in just a few weeks at the beginning of November in the Dome. And of course, we'll be carrying our coverage of the LeMoyne Dolphins women's basketball team through the season with the student athletes, your wonderful coaching staff, and of course, Mary Grimes. Mary, as always, thank you for your time.
Awesome. We'll see you.